So the Addams Family, not that one, different Addams Family. Got to do that joke every time. Did a new horror movie, and it is dropping on Shudder August 23rd, and we're here to talk about it a little early. I am getting the pleasure of once again interviewing John Adams. This time, Toby Poser will be joining him, so we're going to finally get to talk to her. Unfortunately, I think Kaylee's going to be at work when that happens.
I'm sad.
But maybe she'll stop in for a minute because she works from home now. So maybe she can drop in and say hello.
Yes.
So we are pretty big Addams Family fans. Mm-hmm. I have seen The Deeper You Dig, and then Kaylee and I both have watched Hellbender and their previous film Where the Devil Roams, which we were big fans of. So we're excited for this one. So I do want to tell you that we are coming from the perspective of Addams Family fans, and they have a very specific style. And I feel like you're either into it or you're not into it, and it's going to work for you just based on that alone. Like if you've watched their other films and you're like, I'm just not feeling these movies, then I just don't think their films are for you, because I feel like they have a very specific style that they go with. It's this kind of like indie rock and roll kind of edgy horror that has these kind of unique concepts and really is like homemade. That's like it's not homemade in this like in a negative way. I mean that in the most positive way I can, but it feels like something special to me because it feels like a passion project between a family, and it's something that I like am jealous of and would love
envious of.
And would love to have. So
homemade's a great descriptor.
Yeah, so this is about a fracking team who uncover something while disturbing the environment. This is definitely an environmental monster film for sure. I'm sure they have some things they're trying to say here with that, but I guess for all intents and purposes, it's a monster film first and foremost. Now I enjoyed it as I do all their films. It's not my favorite. Where the Devil Roams is definitely my favorite film they've made thus far. But I did quite enjoy it and would put it up against the other ones for sure. So the only thing I was really like having a bit of a hard time with was how quick everyone was to either want to die or kill people. And I just kept being like, you had said while we were watching it that the movie is very reality adjacent. Now, their previous film is very like fairy tale-esque, and that one felt more reality adjacent. This one did feel a little more reality centric to me, so I think that's why I was struggling with it a bit. And I don't know, but I just like the way they make films. I just love to see them making movies, and I like to see what they've cooked up. And with this one, it's definitely over the top in places, which is good. I saw some people saying like this is a really weird film. No, it's not a weird film. It's different for sure. It's something like more unique and kind of like ridiculous in a fun way. Weird's not the word I'd use, and this is coming off of having just saw Cuckoo yesterday. Like that's way more weird than this movie is. This movie reminds me of like more of a homegrown The Thing. But with a much more ridiculous premise because the title hellhole has a meaning.
It has multiple meanings. Yeah, I think it's probably weird to maybe mainstream audiences.
Okay.
I really like the film. I think I'm like you where I might, well, I don't know. I don't know what, I do think I enjoy Where the Devil Roams more, but I still thought this was really fun and really cool. And I love the way that they write dialogue. I just think that the way people talk in their films is very, like, it is reality adjacent feeling to me. Like, it's not bad dialogue at all. I think it's really great, but it's just funny because it's almost, it's not poetic, but it's just, it has this, like, fictive quality to it that is just interesting to me. Love the music, as always. They do the music as well for their films, so they always kill it with that. And the practical effects and the special effects in this, I really liked. I think that there's some stuff, as you said, maybe being discussed about environmentalism and also motherhood, which was really cool. And those kind of go hand in hand, in some ways, and definitely in the film. I think that they're intertwined, which I quite liked. I think that they used the location pretty well too. There's a lot of really cool shots of this abandoned building, and it's very atmospheric in that the building looks really cool, and I think that they did a good job at getting a lot of these shots that showcase it, and also showcase like how remote and isolated everything is, which does lend to that kind of The Thing type of feeling. So I was into it. I think, like you said, like a homegrown The Thing is a really good descriptor of it, and with some comedy to it too, some black comedy as well, which I think their past two films that we've watched has had some of that in there too, sprinklings of it at least.
They always have a dark humor to their
film. I like it. I think it works really well, but I don't know. It's a good film. It's really good. They did a great job as always. So, and yeah. I just am always excited to see what they make.
They also, because of their musical background, and we got to talk to John for maybe an hour or so. I don't remember how long it was, but I think it was about that.
I don't know. It was a great conversation.
We talked a good amount, so definitely watch that if you're into him and their movies. But we talked a good amount about the musical side of things, because he's very heavily involved in that part of it. And there's editing choices here that complement the music, but I could definitely see people not digging that, and that's like part of the vibe thing. Yeah. Where it's like it feels like a music video
at times,
and maybe like even like early 2000s in that editing style and choice with the music, and kind of like it's edited with the music.
I liked that a lot. I thought that was really fun. But it's very stylistic, and as you said, I think some people might not vibe with it, but I thought it was cool.
Yeah, and the premise of the film and what all ends up happening is ridiculous, and it is over the top, and it has a humor to pretty much all of it. Shout out to one of the actors in here from the film 8 Eyes, which I watched maybe a week or two ago. A film that was produced by Vinegar Syndrome, and I really enjoyed. It's like a 70s Italian throwback, so it's pretty kick-ass to see him in here. As far as like the practicals and the CGI go, there's a lot of cool practicals for sure. There's a good amount of CG, and I think this might be where some people also are a little bummed out by it, because it felt like The Mist at times, with a lot of tentacles, and there are a lot of CGI tentacles that are coming out, and you see them quite often, and the tentacles are primarily CG, and they're not great. I didn't mind them, but I know there are some practical purists, and they'll be down on that.
It's hard to do this kind of thing with like only practical effects.
Yeah.
The amount of the budget you have to have for that
sure.
is insane.
Sure.
So I think the CG stuff didn't bother me. I didn't think it looked bad, but I also think I'm one of those people that, I don't know, in general, I'm very forgiving of CGI for the most part. Like, it has to be really atrocious for me to notice it and take me out of the movie.
Sure.
But not everybody's like that. As you said, there's some people that are the purists with practical effects, and then just other people that I think are more sensitive to CGI in general, but none of it bothered me.
It just depends. If I'm into the story and I'm vibing with the film, I've seen The Langoliers 10 times.
Yeah.
That has literally the worst CGI of all time, maybe, second only to like freaking Lawnmower Man 2, Job's War. Like, man, there's some bad CG in the world, and this was nowhere near that level. Not even close.
Not at all. Not at all.
This is fine.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitely fine. I just know how some audiences are, but I just love them and the way that they make films, because it does feel so personal. It does feel so homemade, as I said, but in a good way, where they're like, passionate family for this genre, and they never make excuses. They just like come up with fun ideas, and are like, they have so much talent in every area. Like, they do the music, they direct, they write, they act, and whether or not you think those are all like done to the highest peak of like talent, I just love the swings, and I love the commitment to the art. And that's just something that I really enjoy seeing every time they put out something, and I look forward to anything that they do.
Yeah, totally.
And when we talk about the family here, another noteworthy part of this is that Zelda is absent because I think she's in college, because she missed our interview because she was like, I think that's why Toby left, was like to drive her. No, I'm sorry. She left because she had to drive I think it was someone from this film to like the airport because they got sick or something. But they were like, Zelda can't make it because she's out at school. But Lulu, the other daughter, who typically just does like little bit roles and maybe helps out a little bit here and there, she actually co-wrote this one. So she's a little more involved this time. So Zelda kind of went off and did her thing. And now you have Lulu stepping in and helping out in the writing department. So I thought that was cool. And
I did too.
I wish I was Jason Adams. And I could be
be adopted in?
Yeah, I was the uncle. I could be John's brother, and I would come in and help them. I would act, write, direct, the whole shebang with these guys any day of the week.
It's so cool to see their family, like all of them, getting involved in some way.
Why isn't my family like this? We should make this happen. We need to be the next Addams family, the Smith family. We're coming for you guys. All right? Addams family. Here comes the Smith family. We're going to blow your movies out the water. No, I'm just kidding. But
this one is good. It's good though. Like, if you're a fan of their other films, obviously you should definitely check this out. And if something like that descriptor of like a homemade The Thing with some black comedy in it sounds appealing to you, then you should watch it as well.
Absolutely.
And then in general, if you just like supporting like lower budgeted indie horror films, it's worth a watch, of course.
This is like indie horror from like real people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, this is like a tight-knit group that genuinely does this because they just love it. That is what they're doing, and it is all over their films. This is passion project after passion project. This isn't like people who, went to film school and just like were like, I like film, I'm just gonna make something, or like some rando director got hired on to some shit that he doesn't even care about and is just trying to fill his portfolio with some work. No, that's not how this feels at all. This is the kind of horror that I love, because I love to support this stuff. It gives me such inspiration for the future, and makes me like always sit there and question, what the hell am I doing? Why am I not doing this? And to see someone who's doing it just adds to like the fire. It's like, they throw gasoline on the fire inside of me. Like, I gotta do this, man. These guys really are like showing us how it's done. They don't make excuses. They work what they got. They're very clever and inventive, and they just know how to use the limited capabilities that they have with money and sets, and they just make it work. And they really like dedicate themselves to every aspect of it. It's really inspiring and just so cool.
Yeah, I agree. Super cool. So, always a pleasure to watch their movies.
Yeah.
Hope you keep watching them.
And we're looking forward to, I guess they're working on a television series, maybe directing an episode. I will be interviewing both of them on Wednesday. So look forward to that. Although this is under embargo, so I guess you won't see either of those for a little while.
Yeah, for a little bit.
But there's some show coming out called Tales from the Void. I'll make sure I
Yeah.
ask them about that and their next ventures, whatever those may be. And that's that.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, guys. Let us know. It's going to be on Shudder August 23rd. Check it out.
Bye.